Ladies and gentlemen, what is up? How we doing today? How's everybody feeling? Sorry this is so loud. I need to get a shock mount for my microphone here. How's everybody feeling? What's everybody thinking today? What's everybody's thoughts? What's everybody's feelings? I see 5 people in here, but I don't know who you are just yet. I'm going to talk on this joint some more. Just a little bit. I wish my head wasn't cut off. What up, Jay? What's good? What's good? What you doing, boo-boo? It's been a minute. Inaugural goof roast vibes. What up, Ashley? Let me move this so you can see chat. What's up, Donald? How's everybody feeling? So my plan was to play the Guilty Gear beta, but it's not cooperating with me right now. I don't know if it's just not live or what. But oh shit, what up, Big Richie? But I'm gonna fucking play some MK if I can't get this if I can't get this Guilty Gear beta to cooperate with me. So as much work as I've been putting in with the Twitter fingers, you get to see me put in the work on the Mortal Kombat. So man. Let me see if restarting my PlayStation will fix this. So, you guys might not Warpack, so you guys might not know this. You might not have read this on my profile, but Dara actually apologized to me in private today. If I can't play Guilty Gear, I'm gonna tell that girl that keeps fucking sending me paragraphs about how I need to fucking check my tone, tone policing me and shit, and telling me I need to accept the apology and shit because people changed or whatever. I'm gonna tell her to fucking check my Guilty Gear out. Did I accept it? Well, here's the thing. So that's the funny part. Because I'm inclined not to, honestly, all things considered. Part of me wants to, but so here's the backstory. Obviously, yesterday I talked about all the shit I went through with this person, with Dara. So that's common knowledge. That's out there at this point. Hang on, I have to do something really fast. Oh, never mind, I got it. It's cool. So it's all out there. All the stuff that I went through with Dara. I'm going to put this down. Otherwise, I'm going to fidget with that the whole time I'm talking. It's going to be annoying. So that's yesterday's news. Today's news is that Dara, who has still, as of yet, not unblocked me on Facebook, by the way. So just so that's known, I still have not been unblocked on Facebook. Also, real quick, shouts out to Chris Dorner. Shouts out to Chris Dorner. Fuck the police. All cops are bastards. The American justice system is racist. But now that we got that out of the way, Billy. So now we got that out of the way. Dara hit my inbox on Instagram to apologize to me. Become uncornerable, exactly. So Dara hit my inbox to apologize to me. But the thing is, and because, from the very beginning, the reason why I was even hesitant to put that shit out there about her and my interaction with her, or excuse me, my interaction with her and her boyfriend at the time on her profile. The reason why I was reluctant to put that shit on blast was because of this idea that I have, just like I talked about yesterday, where I know people can change. I've been there. I've helped people along through that process. So I know that that's a fact. And I know what it's like to be constantly reminded of the shitty and fucked up things that you've done or believed while you're trying to change, while you're trying to demonstrate that you are in the process of changing, right? So, I wanted to accept the apology because I thought it would be something with some substance. But, and in fairness, I haven't really read all this shit. I'm going to read this off on stream because it should be public anyway, right? So, I don't have a problem doing that. But the thing is, when I was in my inbox with her, looking at our messages, and some of you that are on my Facebook page saw this, I reached out to her for nothing more than a simple conversation 3 months ago. November 2nd, I messaged her like, hey, you've come a long way from calling me a stinky, greasy gamer word. Thinking that that would facilitate some conversation so I could get a vibe. You know what I mean? So I could know back then whether or not I needed to fire off everything. Thank you, John Miles. And, I don't have my headphones on so you can see how wild my hair is, but it is what it is. I'll put my headphones on in a second. I'm not going to be able to hear alerts, but it's cool. I'll just see them on the side of the screen. Anywho, so there's that. So that already off top makes me be like, I don't know if I really want to actually accept this apology, because that in tantamount with the fact that, or in tandem, not tantamount, I'm geeking. That in tandem with the fact that she waited a full 24 hours after that post happened while she was doing things like posting statements, making public apologies. I do need the fresh fade. Making public apologies to everyone except for me, mind you, because like I said, I'm still blocked on Facebook. And in a section of her fake ass apology that I did read, she said that she didn't know what my profile name was, which is bullshit, because I actually commented on her little sob story post about how she grew up and where she came from and all that shit, which is mostly bullshit, and I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But I said some positive shit. I was like, hey, I knew you back when you were younger, and I had my negative run-ins with you, but it seems like you've really had a lot of positive growth, and I'm proud of this platform that you've built. Because this was before I knew how much conflict she had come into with other people. And I also just straight up forgot that I had tried to press the issue 3 months ago. Because the thing is back when I first thought about this, when I was first made aware of the fact that this person was profiting off of the Black struggle movement, and, had this platform where they were talking about Black Lives Matter, all this shit. And this is just when I only knew, I didn't even know about all the art endeavors and stuff that she had going on, like with the city of Baltimore and stuff. But this is just when I was made aware of her platform, that this person, who my very first interaction with her was her calling me a stinky, greasy nigger, was now profiting off of Black Lives Matter gear and stuff. John, this is someone you probably don't know, but it's Darling Deer, or Dear Darling, art, whatever dumb shit this shit's called. But anyway, I was not keen back then, and this has to have been like October, November. Nah, it's cool. I'm black. I can say the N-word, the gamer word. Yeah, I guess this is at TikTok. I don't know if they're on TikTok. They're probably on TikTok, Bucker. Oh yeah, and James. Yeah, I knew she knew how to get a hold of me. Dear Darling Design Studios. That's a fucking mouthful. But anyway, so yeah, I knew she knew how to get a hold of me, because like I said, I left that comment and she fucking responded to it. So if she responded to it, she had to have been on some level curious as to who I was, if I'd stated very plainly in those comments that I was someone from her past that had shitty experiences with her. So this idea that she didn't know who I was or how to reach me or get a hold of me until just now, what time is it? 4:30, until maybe like noon today, is bullshit to me. So I'm gonna just go ahead and get into this apology here. I'm gonna start reading it. Let me open up my Instagram. Looks like my phone has a decently charged battery. Hang on. Okay, so I got it. Here we go. Because I have been getting blown up. Blown up. And Wade, I kind of agree. A memoir needs to be written of my Lansdowne exploits. Because before I do this really quick, can I just say also, fuck Warpack, fuck Zachary Warnick. If you fuck with Zachary Warnick, you're a fucking clown. Fuck him. Fuck your dead mans. Let me say it again. Fuck your dead mans. Fuck your dead mans. Okay? And fuck RJ Smith, because fuck him too, because he's a racist piece of shit too. And yeah, fuck your dead mans. Just wanted to throw that out there. So here we go. Here's the apology. So here it is. You know what I mean? I'm on my phone. November 2nd, 5:22 p.m. I say, wow, you've come a long way from talking about how I was a greasy, stinky gamer word. Salute to growth, I guess. And then it's crickets. I get left on red until today at 12:17 p.m. She says, hi, Kevin. And I might struggle a little bit because this person is from Lansdowne now. So this is fucking yikes. So, hi, Kevin. I want to apologize again for the message that Aaron sent you, and also apologize for anything that I've said or done to hurt you in the past or through all of this. And mind you, even if we believed that it wasn't her that said that shit on her profile, it was the dude Aaron at the time. Immediately after that, she was talking about how she didn't say it, but liking comments from Warpack about how I was a fucking monkey. So take that information and do with it what you will. She said, we went through some shit when I was in high school, and we both said and did terrible things to people. Okay? When we were commenting back and forth the other day, I was hoping that we had both grown and that we could move forward and have a friendship. Like you said the other day, no one is who they were when they were teenagers. And like I said, I've had a lot of new experiences, and I've put in a lot of work over the last few years when it comes to who I am as a person and how I interact with the world, and I try every day to be better than I was yesterday. I've never tried to hide who I was, and I talk about it openly on my platforms and the work that I've put in to become a better human being. I have tried to use my art and platform to raise awareness for causes that are important to me, to show other people that you can change, and talk openly about my journey, to provide the education that I read and listen to, education that I read and listened to learn more about the world and the issues that other people face, and to raise funds for causes that need it. Again, I am truly sorry for my past, and I'm sorry for any pain that I've caused you. Is there anything I can do for you? And the first bit of it is like, okay, I don't give a fuck what you did. Like, I don't know. It smacked me as like, yo, I'm totally not racist anymore. Can you please stop pointing out the times when I called you the N-word? Because it's more than once. Trust and believe. I'm just waiting for it to come up in my time hop, because it's definitely more than once. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to have receipts. I'm going to have, if I can gain access again to my original Facebook account sometime soon, that's when it's going to be really petty accountant time, because there's some fucking receipts in there. So I respond with answering directly to the question, is there anything I can do for you? I say a few things, but firstly, are you doing this sincerely, or are you doing it because you've been doing damage control for the last 24 hours, and now this seems like the only way to return to your comfortable status quo? Because like I said, this all happened with my posts and everything, and I'm sure she was made instantly aware of it a full day ago. Yesterday at what, like noonish, one-ish, like well before I started streaming yesterday for sure. And that notwithstanding, she had left me on red for 3 months prior to that, where we could have had a conversation, but she didn't engage with me until I was ready to put myself out there to be a character witness for her, right? And say, hey, you're different now. That's when she wanted to fucking, okay, that's how, now I need to respond to this and only to this, right? We can completely disregard any of the shit in my past, because that's the name of the game, right? You just say, yeah, I did some bad stuff in the past, but it's cool. I'm better now. I'm not going to say what I did or who I did it to, but yeah, I did some stuff. Yeah, exactly, Ben. For an apology, it's a lot of I's and me's, right? So she says, and I haven't read this bit yet, so, and I didn't respond to all of it. I literally only read, no, Kevin, I am sincere, and responded to that because I was a little heated. But she said, no, Kevin, and it took her forever to respond, by the way. Almost like she just sent the shit and was hoping I wouldn't say anything back, or that it wouldn't start a dialogue, that it would just be like, okay, I did it. Let me screenshot or whatever, post it on my little shit, and people can continue, white women can continue to support me. So she says, no, Kevin, I am sincere. I tried to search for you yesterday, but I couldn't remember your handle. Yeah, that's bullshit. And then I remembered to go back through the comments on the video that you commented on the other day this morning. When I'm sure not only did she have me in her inbox, not only were other people probably sending her screenshots and shit, but people like Ashley were tagging me, like directly tagging me on her posts. And even if you spelled the word cemetery wrong, cough, cough, on the tags, it wouldn't have been hard to parse, okay, this is actually who she's talking about, considering that I've been sitting in your inbox for 3 months, right? On red. So she says, I know that you and I, she repeats what she said before. I know that you and I have always had tension between us since I was 13. I know how I've changed over the last 14 years, and I am sure that you have as well. I am truly sorry for the things that I've said to you and that others have said on my behalf. There's no excuse for it. I don't care about a comfortable status quo. I've always been honest about who I am and where I come from, which is a lie. And I know that a lot of people will not like me for that, and that's okay. I can't change my past, but I can be honest about it and be better tomorrow. I truly do not want anyone to hurt on my behalf, and I am so sorry that you are hurting. When, like, I don't give a shit. I'm not, and that's what's also been weird about, let me read my response to that before I get into that, but I responded with, and that's why you left me on red for 3 months, and responded negative 10,000 few followers later, because her follower count has gone down a bit. But let me say that I am not hurt by any of this shit. I have been hearing the word nigger, the gamer word. I have been hearing that word and having that word directed at me since I was a little fucking boy. There's not shit you can do or say to me about my skin color that has any impact on me whatsoever, right? What gets a rise out of me is the fact that you had this past, right? Because I readily admit I bullied the fuck out of her. I cyberbullied the fuck out of her, and it should be fairly obvious why I did. But what irritates me is, imagine I became the guy that got paid and everybody pointed to me and my work as the reasons why you shouldn't talk shit about dead people and the reason why you shouldn't be mean to people on the internet. It'd be fucking crazy, right? So that's where I was coming from, where, okay, not only did you call me the N-word on multiple occasions, say and do mad explicitly and implicitly racist shit to and around me in all of our interactions, and I mean every single interaction we ever had, right? And I even tried to squash the shit, like, and that's what's so funny about her saying, I know we've always had tension. I've tried. Lord knows I fucking tried, because beefing with people is fucking annoying. Like, it's fucking annoying. You making me cook you all the fucking time gets on my nerves. And that's why I crispy you so fucking hard, is because I'm trying to convey to you, fucking stop. Like, stop making me do this to you. But I told her when she was still finessing our friend Shane, and I'm sure we saw all the shit that Shane Trevey said about her, right? When she was still fucking staying at Shane's house for free, because that was Shane's friend. I had bad feelings about her then, but on Shane's behalf, not even just to comfort my own soul, but on Shane's behalf, I came through to her because Shane is the homie. Shane was my neighbor. I lived down the street from Shane for 13 fucking years. And that's what pissed me off about that situation too. Because she tried to, and you know what? That's exactly what pissed me off and what rubbed me the wrong way after I tried to squash the shit with her. Because we had a conversation. She was like, all the shit would always come from her, dude. I'd be like, yeah, you said some shit when you were like 13. Literally, my first interaction with you is you calling me the N-word, but whatever. We were teenagers, water under the bridge. And she's going to try to fucking flex after I've been living in Catonsville and like say shit on the sneak, like, this is the first time I've ever really had a home. And I've had a place where I felt like I belong. And I was like, yo, this is my fucking territory. I've known his mom fucking used to make me dinner. I know both of his parents. I'm on a first name basis with both of his fucking parents. right? His fucking mother, when I got my bike stolen by some neighborhood bullies when I was like fucking 8 years old, his mom was the one that got my fucking bike back for me when I couldn't fight a bunch of fucking middle school kids by myself, right? So don't play these games with me. So that's what rubbed me the wrong way off top, just off that. And then we found out all the other shit that she was doing, and it was all going on with her when she was living at Shane's house. But that's his shit. That's not my shit. If you would like to know more about that, if he is open to being more public about that, he will do so. But I digress. This apology to me is too little too late, I feel like, because you had the opportunity in the aftermath, like, and I mean the immediately aftermath, like the immediate aftermath. You could have said this was wrong, da 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 da, but you didn't. You were just like, it wasn't even me who said this. I'm not going to break up with the person or reprimand the person who said this, but it wasn't me. And I'm going to like a bunch of racist ass comments about this person that it was said to anyway. So what the fuck is that supposed to really mean at the end of the day anyway, right? And that was in the year, what, like 2015? And people thinking that I let this shit marinate. And oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. Like, I'm not fucking hurt by any of that. It just pisses me off that this person that I have never been on good terms with at any point, specifically because they were a racist piece of shit, is now going to profit off of selling fucking rainbow t-shirts with Black Lives Matter scrawled across them to white liberals who probably live in gentrified ass areas, right? That pisses me off really fucking bad. Like really fucking bad. And you can call it hurt or whatever, but I call that fucking righteous anger, because you're profiting off of struggle that's completely fucking optional to you, first of all. But second of all, you're profiting off of struggle that you directly fucking contributed to. Right? And the fact that you have all these people of color fucking artists vouching for you, right? The only time, and I know because of how manipulative she is, right? Just look at like what Shane said. She only has people around her and in her circle so that she can get fucking things out of them. And I'm sure it was very fucking, very fucking conducive to her character arc, her redemption arc or whatever, to have a bunch of POC artists and the like who had no idea what her past was actually like to work with her and vouch for her in a lot of situations and amass this giant ass fucking audience of people who will say dumb shit like, oh my God, I love this apology and I accept your apology, even though it's not fucking for me. Right? I keep fidgeting with shit. Yeah, false allies. Yeah. Buckerix, how old when she busted out the gamer phrases? All ages. First time, what was she, 13, 14? But then that particular time in question that I'm talking about that everybody's seen the screenshots of, she was at least like 22, because I am 4 years older than her. And so yeah, like 22 maybe. So old enough to know better. We'll put it that way. Barring that fact, there are lots of white people in this chat right now, right fucking now, who have known since they were able to even speak words, period. Their parents fucking told them, do not say this word, right? We're white. Do not say this fucking word. This is what this word means. This is why it's offensive. Don't fucking say it. If I catch you saying it, I'm gonna beat your ass, right? How many people in say right now, how many people in chat, how many of you, your parents told you what the N-word words and told you not to say the N-word? And Ashley, you're excluded from this conversation. Anyway. So yeah, Big Richard Lizardman, yep. Stephanie Ramos, yep. Yep, lots of, I'm sure all your parents. Yep, Raph, yep. Of course, Fade, Jurston, yep. All y'all know what the N-word, y'all have always known what the N-word means. Susan, yep, of course, yeah. So to me, That shit is not an excuse. Just like, yep, Donald Scott, yeah. And like, I'll own the shit that I said when I was that age. I said, but I was one of those edgy fucking, at the time, straight men. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, ha ha, I want to hear a funny joke. Women's rights, ha ha. Get in the kitchen, ha ha. Like all that shit, right? I knew it was wrong at the time. I knew it was fucking wrong, but I would say that shit anyway, just for edgy fucking, you know what I mean? Because I thought, just like what she thought, I thought that was a fucking slam dunk whenever I got into an argument with a woman, right? I thought that, haha, argument's over. I automatically win because I pulled the woman jokes out, right? Same with her. Let me go to the straight nuclear solution, right? And fucking just call this person the N-word. And no matter how hard they're cooking me, that means I win because they're black and I just pulled the N-word out, right? Yeah, Jay, of course. I know your kids know better. But so yeah, that's not an excuse to me. But that aside, even if we're saying, okay, she was an edgy teenager, fucking she just said that shit just to slam dunk and let the past be the past and let's fucking move forward and allow people room and space to grow and learn and all that good shit. You were like 7 years later doing the exact fucking same shit. Like, hello? And then when you get called out on it, first of all, you should apologize when you said the shit. Second of all, I because I always fucking step out the way. I always go out the window to do shit I'm not supposed to do. I presented the opportunity to segue into that conversation. I gave her an out. Like I said, November 2nd of last year, I hit her up and asked her specifically about all that shit, right? She didn't want to get into specifics, but she just wanted to respond publicly when there was an opportunity to use me as a fucking character witness to say, yeah, this person is different now. When, nah, that's not how we're going to do this. That's not how we're going to do this. And now, when you've been put on blast, you want to just fucking block people, limit comments, turn off comments, put out bullshit ass statements about how much different you are and how you've never hidden your past, even though that's clearly not fucking true because people didn't know this about you, right? You want to put out all this self-aggrandization shit to center yourself once again in the conversation so that you can continue to keep your audience and keep your cash flow going, right? You're doing that while you still have the person you said the shit to and trust. Like I said, I'm not the only person that has negative experiences with this person. I'm going to get to chat in a second because I see you guys going off in chat right now. I'm going to read off chat in a second. I got that distracted me. I'm not the only person that you've had bad experiences with. You could see my profile and shit. There's mad people that have mad shit to say about Dare. David Emosor, what up? There's mad shit that have mad shit to say about Dare. And you're going to just block all their comments, right? Block all, because I'm by far not the only person that she's had blocked on Facebook. And I've been blocked. She's had me blocked for like 7 fucking years at this point. But anyway, you have me blocked. You have all these people saying shit blocked. You're blocking people who are saying shit. And you're limiting comments. And the only comments you allow are these fucking white people golf clapping. Like, oh my God, you're so transparent. Oh my God, I wish more influencers were like you. This, that, the third, X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? Why the fuck did I say Z? I've been playing with too many British people. But then you wait a full 24 fucking hours after you've lost 10K followers to finally be like, shit, I guess my only option at this point is to message this person now that there's a litany of fucking people posting on my shit that I need to apologize to this person. And I'm sure that, and that's the one goofy thing is that I don't want, even if I accept this apology, which I'm probably not going to, this should not be the end of this because, like I keep saying, I am not the only one that she's had experiences like this with. And she has to have a reckoning with a multitude of people about the ways that she's treated people throughout the years. Not just when she was a teenager, not just when she was high school. I'm talking constant. This person is a fucking, someone described her as a sociopath. And, you know, I am reluctant to use that language, but yeah, absolutely. What you think of when you hear the word sociopath? Yeah, absolutely. That's her. You know, and it sucks when you have these people that get into situations where they got everybody fucking fooled because the only thing that they present to you is their good side, and then they might show you just a sneak peek of the shadow so that they can say, see, I told you about my past. You know what I mean? It makes them more endearing, and it becomes, they even pick the bright parts of the shadow to make their character arc seem that much more sanitized. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I'm waiting for her to respond to her most recent, my most recent message to her. Um, and, Cassie Miller, if you're watching this, I really wish you would not make me fucking cook you as hard as you make me cook you sometimes. I really wish that you were different and that you had some brain cells left to rub together in your brain so that I wouldn't have to fucking completely saute and flambe your whole fucking life up like this. But, shout out to Greg. I appreciate the like. But like I was saying, this should not be the end, and I appreciate you, Ashley. Let me just read chat now so I can address some of the stuff y'all are saying in chat. About your parents and stuff, blah, blah, blah. Stephanie Ramos, I'm Puerto Rican who grew up in a very white town. I grew up in the colored part of town and was called the N-word repeatedly. I was 5. I knew how awful this word was prior to ever being called it myself. It's not an excuse. I mean, yeah, I grew up, and people will tell you. You could probably tell just by my accent. I grew up in a very white area. I grew up in a town called Relay, which was adjacent to a place called Arbutus, which was all in the Lansdowne High School district, which is how I met this person in the first place, right? I grew up in a super white area. That area was like one of the richest areas in the East Coast, I think. There's like actual fucking mansions out there. It was one of those Dave Chappelle things, right? Where your parents want you to grow up like kind of semi-poor in the upper parts of poverty and the lower parts of the middle class, but around other rich people so that you gain the opportunities from networking and becoming friends, befriending other rich people's kids, right? Like my house, people called me a rich kid all the fucking time because my father owned a Range Rover and I had CDs and music gear and shit, not knowing that my house had 2 fucking rooms with no furniture in them. I grew up having fucking grape juice and crackers for dinner, right? I grew up fucking with 2 school uniforms to go to private school with, right? Just fucking switching off. My mom would wash one night and I'd wear the other one day, right? People have no idea what my fucking background is. Even if I was a fucking rich kid, guess what? My fucking grandparents literally fucking picked cotton, right? My grandmother had a conversation with me 3 years ago about how she used to fucking pick cotton for $3 a day, right? And her family fucking ran off the plantation at gunpoint because her fucking father was like, you know what? I'm not putting up with this shit anymore. We're going to have a regular life just like everybody else in this fucking country. And they ran. And then they left with my mother after my mother's grandfather passed. My grandmother took my mother and her sisters to Dayton, Ohio. It's part of the Great Black Migration. Same thing with my father's side of the family. They were in fucking Montgomery, Alabama. First of all, my mother's side of the family were in fucking Greenville, Mississippi, and started off in fucking Bowie, Mississippi, in Copiah County, Mississippi. So they know about racism. They've witnessed some lynchings and shit. My fucking father's side of the family, they ducked off from Montgomery, Alabama. They know about people's houses getting firebombed. They know about lynchings. They know about having to cross the fucking street when white people are walking in the same direction as you. They all moved to guess where? Youngstown, Ohio. Right? Google this. Do your fucking research, right? Y'all love fucking reading and shit so much. Read about the Great Black Migration. This should be common enough. This should be fucking common knowledge at this point. And if you don't think it's common knowledge, fucking watch my stream and I'll tell you about this shit. You can ask me about this shit, right? I just like I've said before, I will put myself out there. I will do the work. If you're actually interested in good faith in a lot of this shit, because I want people to be educated. I understand it's not my job to do this shit. And fuck yeah, it's exhausting, especially when people come at me in bad fucking faith when I gotta explain basic ass shit like, hey, affirmative action is not what the fuck you think it is. Hey, people can't just get fucking welfare, right? That's why Martin Luther King Jr. marched and did what the fuck he did, because he went to Mississippi, where my grandmother was from, and saw that the children there didn't have no fucking shoes and were illiterate because the schools were so fucked up and they didn't have access to proper schooling, right? And that's why they fucking murdered his ass. That's why the fucking FBI assassinated his ass and got sued for it and lost. Right? Because they said, oh shit, a bunch of fucking educated and wealthy niggas, we can't have this. This is a threat to our entire fucking way of life. This is a threat to our entire fucking hegemonic structure. It's the same reason why the fuck they killed Fred Hampton. Because they were fucking scared of what a unified and strong and fucking focused black population would be like in this country. Right? So when I see these fucking white people up here selling fucking Black Lives Matter merch, selling shit that says tolerating racism is racism on it, and you got a fucking your rainbow across it, right? Your little fucking what you think is your little signature and shit. You're making money off experience that I fucking lived every day from childhood to this fucking day. To quote not Gervonta Davis, the other heavyweight boxer. I'm fucking geeking right now. But you know what I'm talking about. The memes. To this day. You know the meme. This shit that I fucking live every fucking day that I don't get to step away from. I don't get to just say, you know what? I'm clocking out. I'm clocking out of anti-racism today. I put my little fucking time in. I've punched my time card. I'm clocking out so I can go with my fucking racist ass family members and shit and just fucking relax and be comfortable and move through this fucking racist ass world as a fucking privileged ass white woman, right? That's bullshit to me. That's fucking bullshit. And also with that girls making magic shit, that's fucking everybody. Hold on, let me pull her up right now. It's Instagram at KIMSAIRA at Kim Sarah on Instagram. Cause it's fucking bullshit to me that you have a woman of color who needs to fucking abandon a platform that she helped build up to what it is. What, like 30,000 followers? She has to go out of her way to release a statement and make a whole new shit because she doesn't want to be associated with this fucking racist bullshit, right? What the fuck is that? Deontay Wilder. Thank you, Dante. Let me read some more chat. Sorry, I kind of went off for a second there. I have a tendency to do that. James, so our partners in the biggest of her Instagram accounts asked her to step away from the project yesterday and she refused. Okay, so she then came up with that bullshit public apology and ran it by the only POC involved in the account to see if it was acceptable. Wow, okay, so that gets in directly what I was just talking about. Yeah, that's fucking bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. And even if I was gonna accept this little fucking petty ass bullshit apology, that's fucking bullshit, right? If anybody has to become deplatformed and give up all their following and shit, it should be her. But nah, it's got to be the person of color. It's got to be the woman of color that probably worked hard as fuck on her art, mastering her craft and doing all of her shit, doing all the shit that's necessary to get to 30,000 followers, doing all that public fucking, that PR and that social media shit. Now she's got to kiss all that shit goodbye, roll it up and smoke it, put it in a spliff, because Dara is a fucking piece of shit and doesn't know how to accept criticism. Dave Emosaurth, thanks for saying hi. I was waiting for her to block you too, Ashley, honestly. And if she wants to give me cash, I don't know how much cash she has, because I don't want her to fucking, because at the end of the day, I do have my principles. I want, like I said, I want everybody to have healthcare. I want everybody to have access to basic food, shelter, all that shit. So I don't want to fucking extort her and completely clean her out, but fuck yeah, kick me some ducats. The fuck is wrong with you? You probably make mad bread off your goofy little fucking record tote bags and t-shirts and fucking leggings and fucking wine stems and shit. Fucking goofy. Fade, bro, I had the white polo, the red polo, and one pair of khaki pants. So fuck yeah. So you know that life, Fade. And I know where you come from too. We came from the same bottom. You're white, but we came from the same fucking bottom, my guy. So trust and believe. I know what the fuck you went through. Your family's from Montgomery, Dante? Yeah, we might be, for real, because I found that out doing my family tree shit, and that was part of my personal journey after my grandmother's telling me a story about how she picked fucking cotton while we were sitting in Cracker Barrel looking at all the fucking, oh, I use that tool, the fuck for my fucking aunt's funeral. And I'm listening to my grandmother tell me this shit, and I want to fucking punch a hole in the fucking table while we're sitting there. Because, yo, what the fuck? It's my grandmother. This is the strongest fucking woman I've known in my entire fucking life. And I'm getting emotional now talking about this shit. But this is the strongest woman I've ever fucking known in my entire life. She had to go through that? The fuck is wrong with this fucking world, yo? And I found out that, yeah, after all these people in my whole life, I got into literal, actual fucking fist fights over people fucking saying I'm related to Hootie from Hootie and the Blowfish. Hey, you related to Darius Rucker? Hey, you related to Darius? And I used to beat people's asses behind that shit. And now, yeah, I am related to Darius Rucker. The Ruckers owned his family and my family. They just owned him in South Carolina instead of fucking Alabama. Or Kentucky, I mean, sorry. There's Ruckersville, Kentucky. But I didn't live in the inner city, but I get where you're coming from, Steph Ramos. I know exactly what you're talking about, Steph Ramos. People, you can't have growth unless you confront what stunted your growth and acknowledge it, own it, and fucking burn it. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of that is some people that you fucking wronged. There's people that I've ran up in their house. I've beat up. I've fucking robbed and shit that fucking hate me. You know what I'm saying? And they are fully within their rights to do that. I was a fucking bully. I'll tell you all that right now. I was a big time fucking bully. Y'all see how hard I fucking bully some of these people sometimes. And if you hate me because of it, if it was for no reason, if I was literally just fucking on one, I was drunk or I was fucked up off Xannies or whatever, and I decided I just wanted to fuck with you and you hate me because of that, fuck yeah. Whatever amount of time it takes for you to heal from that, I support you and I salute you. If that means fucking talking shit about me publicly, you got to do that. Do you? I'm not going to fucking silence anybody that has anything negative to say about me, because I know I was never a perfect fucking person. I'm still not a perfect person, but it is what it is. And yeah, I'm going to post in Facebook the Instagram link for Kim. So there's that. And yeah, I didn't even know that shit about Dara pushing her out of Girls Making Magic or whatever the fuck that goofy fucking white feminist shit is called. That's fucking trash. That's fucking trash. That's fucking infuriating. That makes me want to fucking pick my phone up right now and start sauteing her shit all up all over again. You know what I mean? Like, that's fucking trash. And people should make her know that that shit is fucking trash. And she needs to step away from that shit. And she needs to do the right thing. And I'm not talking about me, because I don't give a fuck what she thinks about me or how she treats me, unless she wants to kick me some fucking some ducats and give me a couple thousand followers, a couple thousand fresh followers. You know what I'm saying? But she needs to fucking make amends to the people that she caused actual fucking harm to. Because I don't give a fuck about, like I said, I don't give a fuck if you call me the N-word. I know who the fuck I am. I know what the fuck I came from. And I know where my family came from and what they went through to get me where I was. So I don't give a fuck what you have to say. But when you're out here literally, because that's to me, you're taking a bag from a woman of color. That's her fucking bag that she fucking put in work for. And you're going to be like, nah, I don't want to give this up because I'm too fucking enraptured in this fucking bullshit ass story that I've weaved around myself, that I've presented to the world, that I now have all these people who love me and don't know any fucking thing about me. Nah, fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. That's fucking bullshit. Definitely support Kim, Sarah, Kimsaira on Instagram. Go there, follow it, share it. Spread that around. Make sure she gets the love and support that she needs and deserves and has fucking earned. Let's be real. She put in work for that. She put in work just like I put in work on this fucking platform. So. And did it. That's that's like some of the smartest shit that you fucking said in this thread. Not all black people came from slave shits. Some were already born here. I'm black indigenous. I don't fucking put that out there as part of my heritage because I didn't grow up on a reservation. You know what I mean? I'm disconnected from that life because black freedmen were not owned. Like, we're not, I don't mean owned as in like literally owned like they used to be, but they were not recognized as part of the nation. So a lot of the black freedmen were literally people without a nation, because they had no fucking rights in America. America didn't recognize them. And the First Nations that they were literally fucking owned and enslaved by didn't recognize them. So that's why there's no fucking paperwork on any people of my mother's father's side of the family, right? So it is what it is. I was pretty just in most of my bullying. And that's what I'm saying. Most. The operant word in that sentence is most. Because there was definitely some people I went off on that didn't deserve it. That I was just going in. And yeah, Savannah. I mean, I'll say this. There's certain ways that you grow up when you have a certain background. Whether it's your family life or... And I know how it is as a woman, especially a little girl, being a little girl. I don't know how it is. Rather, the stuff that I've read and the conversations that I've had and just my experiences later in life. Because obviously, like I said before, I would make woman jokes and shit all the fucking time. That was nothing to me. But I understand. I can comprehend the difficulty that comes along with being a little girl and being a woman. And how that would encourage you to act out in ways to establish dominance and power in unhealthy ways, because the world is telling you have no power, right? You have no fucking, you have no say in anything. You're going to do this, 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 and this, and you're going to be seen as this, 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 and this, and that's it. And any divergence from that is, you're off. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're crazy. You're being gaslit. You're crazy. You must be crazy, right? So, of course, that's going to fucking... If someone tells you you're crazy for long enough, you might start to think that shit. You know what I mean? So, it is what it is. I know. I'm aware. And yeah, Dante, being former metal / alternative artist, fuck yeah. I used to respect the fuck out of Sadrum. You and Felipe fucking were low-key like the blueprint for me. You know what I'm saying? When, like, to give me my confidence with me and Orion, and credit where credit is due, I wouldn't have started playing music without Orion Stevens. So shout out to Orion Stevens and shout out to Undying Arms. Without him, I wouldn't have gotten my start in music. Shout out to Billy Carnes, because my first band that I actually did something with was with Billy Carnes. I would not have gotten or done or had the confidence to do any of the shit that I did without you, Felipe, without Orion, you know what I'm saying? And we used to fucking, even though we got shitted on, right? Playing at the fucking teen center in Reisterstown, which is not far from where I am now, getting fucking ripped off, right? Doing shows, and all the people that we fucking brought out getting charged $5 at the door, and at the end of the night, we don't see a fucking dime of any of that money. Hey, thanks for playing. You're welcome for the privilege of playing music, of carting all of your fucking expensive ass gear and finding a ride here and bringing all these fucking people who also need to find rides here, right? Thanks for the fucking few $100s. Bye. Don't let the good Lord hit you where don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you, right? We all went through that shit. And then on top of that, we had to go through all the pay to play shit after the fact. Right? Yeah, Evelyn. I'm sure. Yeah. So you know the vibes. Evelyn, you know the vibes. Shout out to Killer ID. And as much as people hated on Killer ID, as much as I was embarrassed of Killer ID, I'm proud as fuck of us. Right? Because we were a group of fucking misfit kids that did our fucking thing, no matter how much everybody shitted on us. Do you understand? For people who don't know this, or people who don't know about that band or anything, we played a fucking talent show, bro. We played a fucking talent show. It was a battle of the bands at Catonsville High School. We were one out of like 5 or 6 bands or whatever. We played, we did our thing, we jammed the fuck out. We were headbanging, we were fucking moving, we were doing all the shit you see the pro bands doing with all of our fucking gear, our pro gear and shit that we had to fucking scrounge up our allowance, beg our parents to buy for us and shit, and got booed off fucking stage. Guess what place we got? Numero dos, second place. The only band that beat us was some fucking goofy ass fucking what the Bruce Springsteen like cover band or something, where a bunch of kids that played their fucking parents' instruments got together, and they were the popular kids at that school, and they were the kids that all the girls had a fucking crush on, so naturally they were going to get first place. But we were a bunch of fucking nobodies that nobody knew, and the people that did know us didn't fucking like us. Why? Because we were fucking the weirdos, the goths. We fucked with the metal, and we wore chains on our pants and shit. And we didn't roll with any of the cool kids. And we were the black kids and the queer kids. And we went out there and played our little new metal or whatever and did our fucking thing. Right? Yeah, Asian Bruce Willis. I'm sure you know how it is being in a band. Roxy the Riveter. I know you know how it is being in a fucking band, because you and I were in the same band, right? Well, not at the same time, but we had the same experience with that person in that band fucking paying out of his pocket for us to open up fucking shows and be the cigarette break band at fucking shows, where my experience was fucking at being asked to play a festival, a whole ass festival with fucking dozens of bands, multi-day fucking festival. We got to find a ride out of town, fucking 3 hours to drive to this fucking festival with all of our gear that we've had to pay for and all the time and work we've put in writing songs, rehearsing songs, right? Rehearsing our live performance just to play second or third at 4:30 in the afternoon to nobody, to literally nobody, to the point where fucking little goofy ass homophobic and fucking racist ass blogs and shit are posting pictures of us playing and headbanging and going off and doing our thing to 2 people and making fun of us and shit so that we can not get paid, not sell any merch. But it was fulfilling for me because I got to meet Terrence Hobbs, who is literally my fucking idol, the black dude with dreadlocks and Suffocation. I don't have my Suffocation sweatpants on right now, but one of my fucking favorite bands of all time, other than the kids in the other kids in the hood that gave me my confidence, this guy in this band that taught me that it's okay, that it's not just white boy music, that black people can play metal and play it fucking damn well as well, and write dope ass metal and love metal and be a part of the scene and represent. So yeah, Billy, Dante Sella's in the Facebook chat. Savannah, you beat this kid up in school. Fuck yeah, I beat up mad kids. I beat up mad kids. There is if I hope Donald's not gonna be offended by this or won't be upset by me talking about this in here. But there's a person who comes in this stream and has notifications turned on everything. Hold up. Well, wait. I just read a comment before I get into that. Rachel Pack, as a person who got fucked over by Dara, used and spit out, I want to say thank you for bringing this shit out. I'm truly sorry you had to go through that. I'm sorry you had to go through that too, because like I said before, I don't feel shit from any of this. She did not cause me one fucking moment of pain. But there's people out there that she genuinely fucking hurt with her actions. And fuck yeah, I'll ride for y'all. I don't want to speak for y'all, but I will ride for y'all all day. How long ago was that Battle of the Bands? Fuck, dude. Fuck. When was that? Was that 2005, Evelyn? Evelyn would know. That was 2005, right? Because I remember we spent the night at your mom's house, I think, before we did that, I want to say. Because that was when I first got that first Suffocation CD too. And I had it on my 360. Yeah, 2K5. Yeah. Playing Death Fest, I can't co-sign that. It's cool if that was a good experience for you. I'm not going to take that away from you. But I've been on the fuck Death Fest wave since like 2008, 2009. For reasons I can get into, just not right now. But yo, what up, John Cedric? But yeah, Donald Atkins comes in here. 2004, 2005. Yeah, because I think you were there, Billy. You came to support just because we were homies before we even started playing music together. We had our first jam session that never really amounted to anything, but yeah, and Roxy, yeah, hit me up after stream and I'll tell you all about Death Fest. Matter of fact, I'll get into the Death Fest shit because I love talking shit on Maryland Death Fest. So after I get finished with this Dare shit, I'm going to talk about Maryland Death Fest. So if you're not into metal, it might not mean anything to you, but if you're into metal, then this might be some heat that you want to stick around for. Anyway, yes, I do music, John. I have a SoundCloud. My SoundCloud is Nightmare Difficulty. I'll drop a link to it in chat. There you go. Thanks for the support. So anyway, Donald Atkins, we were in elementary school. They're not in here right now. He's not in here, but shout out to Donald Atkins. I used to bully the fuck out of Donald. I used to make Donald cry because Donald, we used to call Donald little kissy boy and shit, call him gay and shit, because he actually is gay. You know what I mean? Came out as gay many, many years later. Obviously, this wasn't in elementary school, but we were in elementary school together. I used to give him the fucking blues. We used to play dodgeball. I do have an Instagram. I'll link that as well. But I'll do it in a second. Actually, I'll do it really quick, and then I'll finish the story. Okay, so here's my Instagram. And follow this Instagram as well because they need the support. KIMSAIRA, Kim Sarah. But yo, I used to bully the fuck out of Donald because Donald would like try to kiss me on my chest, call me tall, dark, and handsome and shit. Just fucking doing little kid shit that little kids do. And because I had what was going on in my home life going on, I was like, fuck yeah, a kid that's smaller than me and is obviously weaker than me and not is like, I don't mean soft as in, I don't mean that as an insult, but just like an effeminate kid, you know what I mean? Fuck yeah, I'm gonna bully this kid all day long. I bullied a kid with Down syndrome. I was not good. I was not healthy when I was in elementary school. I killed cats. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was on some real fucking serial killer shit when I was in elementary school. Donald, I approached Donald fucking years ago. I can't even remember when it was, but just on the side, even before I was super popular with music, before I did anything, just to fucking, because I felt so guilty And I felt so ashamed of the shit that I did as a kid. I reached out to him like, yo, I'm sorry that I did all that shit to you, and I hope that it didn't affect you going forward through life, because that shit'll fuck you up if you have somebody that did the type of shit that I did to people as a kid. You know what I mean? Look at all these stories about people talking shit about how fucking Dara fucked them up, right? And I will ride and salute to fucking Donald all day long. And I appreciate and I thank you deeply from the bottom of my heart that you found it in yourself to forgive me and all the shit that I did. Not only that, but to support me in this streaming shit and all the shit that I do now. You're a fucking saint for that. You're a fucking saint for that. Because if I were you, I would have told me to go fuck, like get fucked, and blocked me and never fucking spoken to me again. You know what I mean? But that is what it is. So let me just put a little cap on the Dare shit, just to tie a bow on that for today's stream. Fuck this goofy ass apology. It doesn't mean shit, especially when we consider the fact that there's other shit that she's doing behind the scenes that makes it seem hella fucking insincere. Hella insincere. She's got fucking goofy ass Cassie Miller trying to tell me and facilitate a conversation and basically just make it so that I agree that she's changed or whatever, so all of this shit can grow away or whatever. My genre, I used to play metal. I still play metal and grindcore a little bit, but mainly my genre now is synthwave and like video game soundtrack music. Any of my music on YouTube? Yes, sir. Let me link you one of my songs that's on YouTube. Hang on. Matter of fact, I'm going to just let the song play through right now. I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit. We definitely still need to collab, Evelyn, for sure. I don't know if that's too loud, but this is my music right here. Yeah, video game type beats, absolutely. LiveJournal.com, the third person involved with the Girls Making Magic account confirmed that Kim asked Dare to step down and she refused. That's fucking bullshit, and that's what I wanted to talk about, just to tie a bow on everything. I'm so fucking mad. You don't even understand how fucking mad I am. So, okay. This shit slaps. Thank you. I appreciate it. You vibe into emo rap type beats? Oh, those are my... I fuck with... So, I like those beats, but my favorite types of beats recently is the UK drill beats. Those are the hardest, most knocking ass, hitting ass fucking beats, yo, that... It made me a fan of UK drill. I can't understand a fucking lick of what they're saying sometimes, but the beat goes the fuck in. How long have I been growing my dreads? I've been growing my dreads for since 2007, but I actually cut them short. I cut the sides off because I wanted to do the so my house burned down in 2017, and I kind of went through a personal crisis in the aftermath of that, and I cut the sides off and made like a dreadlock mohawk type deal. But then the year before last, this was after Black Panther had come out, and I kind of wanted to do something different, something new. So before I went to go see my grandmother, because I usually wear my hair like this, I went to I got it cut shorter again, but I got the like Eric Killmonger haircut. If you've seen Black Panther and you know Killmonger, then you know exactly the type of hairstyle I'm talking about. That's the hairstyle I had, but now all my hair is a little bit longer. Thank you, Donald. I was just talking about you, about how fucking awful I was to you in elementary school, and how much of a fucking saint you are that you even still speak to me, let alone that you actually support my stream and my music and shit. Buckarix, yeah, no offense to Americans, but our drill and grime blows American grime out of the water. Your drill and grime, see, I don't know if I can co-sign that, bro, because, like I said, the beats are the hardest fucking beats. And some of the lyricism, Okay, I could see that. But in my opinion, and this might just be because I'm American and I speak American English and not King's English, but like, to me, the lyricism and the wordplay is just way more fire here in the States. Pucker the ooh ah, sweet Jesus, pucker the ooh ah. Shout out to Marleek, hardest rapper in the game. You had dreadlocks, you've been growing, you had extensions. That's chill. That's chill. And Eric Killmonger is hella fine, yes sir. Or yes ma'am, I'm sorry. I say yes sir, just fucking, I end off every sentence with yes sir. I forgot, I didn't read who actually commented that. Queen's English? Sorry, yeah, my fault. It's the thick London accent? Yeah. Yeah, the London accent. I fuck with the accent, the thick London accent. Am I gonna grow them back? Yeah. I'm like thinking about I'm gonna do one of two things. Hold on, you guys are sidetracking me because I wanted to finish my thought. Hang on. That's not my music anymore. Let me fucking end that before I get DMCA'd. Fuck Dare Sargent. Fuck Dear Darling Designs. Fuck all that shit. It's fucking trash that she is making other women of color. And by the way, I'm going to put in the link in chat just one more time, just to, you know what I'm saying? So follow her. Make sure you follow and support. It's fucking bullshit that she is essentially stealing a bag from women of color and profiting. Not only was she profiting off of Black struggle, printing her little Black Lives Matter shit, but now she's literally profiting off of women of color and the work that they fucking put in, stealing a fucking bag from them because she refuses to ever do the right thing in any fucking situation in her life. Fuck that. I am not accepting this little goofy fucking apology. She can throw me some ducats. She could throw me a few $100 or a few $1,000s, maybe a few thousand stray new followers or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then we can maybe begin to start talking about forgiveness and all that shit. Once I get some fucking reparations, fuck yeah. And once she does what needs to be done in terms of making amends with all the other people that she's fucked over. Yeah, I feel that, livejournal.com. Yeah, that's fucking... It should be fairly obvious to everyone observing this situation that Dara is a piece of shit, is only interested in elevating her own status, and is only interested in using the Black Lives Matter movement and the Black struggle and, you know, trans rights and all of that stuff just to elevate her own status. Because that shit's fashionable right now. Like a typical white feminist liberal, right? So that's how I feel about that. Tie a bow on that. At least put a pin in it for now, because we'll see what happens when she responds to my messages and does all that other shit. Hang on, I gotta respond to a dumb... Anyway, the next few days will be hella interesting. I agree. True, there are plenty of struggles that aren't sexy or fashionable to talk about that need equal attention, like financial fragility and literacy. Absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up, because I need everybody that's in chat right now to understand that before you fucking support and salute me, because it's very fucking important to me that you all know this and understand this, that I am literally a fucking communist. I'm a Marxist, Leninist, Maoist. I'm an anarchist. I'm anarchata. I am an anarcho-communist. That means that I want to abolish the government. I want to abolish prisons. I want to abolish money. Okay. Don't use me for any fucking liberal bullshit, because I am not a liberal. I am not a liberal. I believe in Pan-Africanism. I believe in workers around the world uniting for a common goal of overthrowing the hegemonical structure of capitalism. That's what I believe. And if you don't agree with that, you have an issue with that, and you're actually willing to engage in a conversation in good faith about that, cool. If not, if you're just on the communism bad because Cold War propaganda and I love capitalism, even though I probably don't own any capital, if you're on that wave, peace the fuck out. You will not be missed. Pan-Africanism is the idea that black people around the world should be united. The entire African diaspora. We should be all united towards the same goal, which in my opinion is the overthrow of capitalism. But anyways, as far as my hair goes, to answer that question about my hair, what I've been seriously considering lately is just cutting it all off and starting over again and regrowing my dreadlocks. But I'm a lot older than I look. I'm 31, coming up on 32, and I have no idea how long my hairline is going to last. You know what I'm saying? You see, it's holding on for dear life. And I don't want to cut all my hair off and then start molding in like a year or two. So get the shelf. I already had the shelf. Is that like black ethno nationalism or is that a mischaracterization? Yeah, it's kind of a mischaracterization. I don't believe that there should be a black ethno state or anything wild like that. But is all talk but no action? What are you talking about? I might be all talk but no action, but you're no talk and no action because you're going on quiet time. So how about that? It's kind of a mischaracterization. Yeah, you're on quiet time. So anyway, um, yeah, not like white people bad. Yeah, no, absolutely not. In fact, if you pay attention to some of the yeah, fuck Rush. Hell yeah, Dr. Teabag. What's good? Thank you, Stephanie Ramos. I appreciate you. Have a good weekend as well. But yeah, if you look at the work that Fred Hampton did, the reason why they assassinated Fred Hampton, and I haven't seen Judas and the Black Messiah yet. I wasn't really planning on watching it, honestly. Oh, excuse me. The reason why they killed Fred Hampton is because he was, as chairman of the Black Panther Party, tried to reach out to multiple other groups in the same class because he understood that while racial justice is important, you also have to focus on class. And that's why you have to destroy capitalism because just like I've had conversations with some people, I could take you to spots in West Virginia where white people live in abject fucking poverty. Like coal miners and stuff like that. Like there's people out there that don't have no fucking shoes, right? So it's not just about black people getting reparations and doing off and just doing black people stuff, right? That's important. It's important to acknowledge that we as descended African people and indigenous people need to unite and come together for a common goal and form our own collective consciousness, so to say. But that should be in conjunction with working with poor people in general so that we can have class consciousness across the board and have workers all across the board actually come together towards a common goal. It's crazy when you hear people in the US live like third world country. It is fucking crazy. And it's not even just Texas with the ice shit. There's people in Mississippi, Alabama and shit still. People in the South that live in terrible conditions. They don't have indoor plumbing. There's places here where I live in Baltimore where people don't have indoor plumbing, they don't have electricity. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Um There's a lot in Midwest too. Yeah, Midwest too. Respite. I'm from Dayton, Ohio. So yeah, I know exactly. Gary, Indiana is like that. A lot of places in Michigan, Detroit, Michigan. Like, fuck yeah. All those fucking GM plants and shit, once they were gone, they fucking Thanos snapped the economy in those areas. That shit's nuts. Tennessee, yep, of course. Tennessee as well. Down south. Hold on, Buckarix, you said, can both the communists and capitalists agree that taxing rich or taking large amounts of billionaires' net worths won't work unless the whole world would have to reject corporations because they will just move to a different country and take your country? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why you have to have global class consciousness, and you have to have a international perspective when it comes to socialism and communism, because it's got to be a worldwide thing, specifically for that reason. If you have a capitalist haven, then yeah, that's where everyone will fucking go. That's why you have tax havens now in places like in East Africa, that country in East Africa that I'm from, whose name escapes me right now. And you know, the Panama Papers came out and shit, Paradise Papers came out. All that shit that shows that, yeah, capitalists, hyper-capitalists just stash all of their fucking money in tax havens so that they don't have to contribute anything to society. Big brain stream. Thank you, Dr. Teabag. Or Dirtbag, whichever one of that. I don't know which one it is. Do I subscribe to the labor theory of value? I can't say yes or no to that because I am not 100% familiar to labor theory of value, but what I do know of it, I do believe yes. I just believe that literally everyone, 100% of people deserve food, shelter, clothing, and healthcare, all of that. And if you want to work, then great. If you don't want to work or you can't work, then that's cool too. That doesn't mean you don't deserve to have a decent fucking living, right? There's plenty of food. We dump so much fucking food. There's plenty of food for everyone. There's so many fucking houses that are empty, abandoned, in disrepair, and fucked up. No one should be homeless, right? For me, it's just the idea that all of humanity should be working towards the betterment of all of humanity, period. There shouldn't be people living in poverty. To me, poverty is violence. Poverty is optional, which means that it's violence, right? If you have homeless people freezing to death in a country where police defend abandoned houses to make sure that there's nobody living in them, that's fucking violence to me. In a country where you have people going hungry, children going hungry, not knowing where their food is going to come from because the school in their area is shitty or is closed, the church is closed or whatever, and you have police fucking guarding the dumpsters so they can't even get the food that other people throw away, that is violence to me. And obviously all the shit with police brutality that people of color and people in poverty go through with their interactions with police, where the police just fucking kill us with impunity. Not only do they not feel bad about killing us, not only do they just decide to kill us and do that shit, do whatever the fuck they want to us, they face no fucking consequences for it. Yeah, they might get condemned in the court of public opinion, but what the fuck does that mean at the end of the day? Fuck all. Poverty will always lead to violence, and history shows they always win in the end. You are absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. My issue with labor theory of value is it's terribly subjective what socially necessary hours of labor is. I would agree with that. The things that just the word socially, like if something is socially necessary, then yeah, that's by definition kind of subjective, right? But like I said before, everyone should have at least, I don't think everyone should have the same standard of living. If you work hard, if you invent something that takes humanity forward by leaps and bounds or whatever, then you should be rewarded for that. But I'm saying the floor of human experience should be the same across the board. Nobody should be hungry. Nobody should be homeless. Nobody should be without basic health care. Nobody should be subject to the whims of a fucking racist and classist police state, right? These are all things that should be just basic, that I feel like even non-socialists can agree with. Even the liberals agree with some of those ideas. It's just that they love capitalism too much to, you know, ever be open to the idea that maybe capitalism is the thing that's making shit fucked up. Nobody should be without clean water. Facts. Countries fall for not taking care of the poor. Facts. That's facts. And the fucked up thing is even though you have all this shit happening right now in Texas, you still have people caping for people like Ted Cruz. You're still going to have a country full of people who want Donald Trump, who think that the Republican Party is anything other than a fucking death cult. Like the value created by salesmen whining and dining big clients, closing large deals would be seen by communists as lazy compared to mining, even though mining as an industry is working in a deficit. I think, Jordan, thank you for the stars. I believe that both of those occupations, first of all, salesmen just wouldn't exist in a communist society, in my opinion, or it's as far as I understand it. But also coal as an industry, those people deserve to be, like coal miners as a social group, as a class, deserve to be acknowledged and heard and taken care of. But the industry of coal mining, I think, is obsolete. And I feel like we should pretty much all across the board acknowledge that coal mining is not good for the environment, and we should move away from that as a means to produce energy in the future. And I get 100%, 1000% that there is issues and we can't move completely to renewables right this second because we haven't yet found the panacea, the magic bullet that's going to say, hey, we get the same amount of kilowatt hours, or we get the same amount of energy out as we put in as with coal or with natural gas, right? That's easy energy. It's cheap energy, even though it fucks the environment up, right? We don't really have a direct replacement for that yet. But hold on. Here's some fucking dumbass from fucking YouTube. Hold on. Let me address this. Democrats are the party of slavery, KKK, Jim Crow, FDR segregation, FDR Japanese internment camps, lynching, poll taxes, Margaret Sanger eugenics, and voted against women's rights. Okay, that's cool. Were the Democrats the party that invaded the fucking Capitol January 6th? Dumbass. Do you understand what the term Dixiecrat means? Do you understand that people moved from the Democratic Party to the Republican Party specifically because they didn't think the Democratic Party were racist enough? Do you think about that before you come in here with your fucking dumbass Republican propaganda? Are you like a CEO? Are you a Republican politician? Do you get money from Republicans? Or are you just carrying water from them and sucking their cocks and giving them free PR for nothing, for attention? Because that's what you're doing. Republicans do not give a fuck about you. They will never give a fuck about you. They would rather see you fucking freeze to death than give you anything remotely resembling equity or justice in America. And the fact that you don't understand that is fucking sad. That you would rather sit there and shit on Democrats when really the solution is to eliminate the two-party system. Because first of all, I'm not a Democrat. And the fact that you think just because I'm making fun of Rush Limbaugh that you think I'm a Democrat, that's fucking your dumbass bullshit on your part. That makes you a fucking idiot. That means you need to unstuck your fucking head from whatever dumbass jar that you have to where the only discourse in your mind is you're either Republican or Democrat. Republicans good, Democrats bad. That's what you think, right? And if you believe things like Black Lives Matter, if you believe things like black people deserve rights, women deserve rights, you must be a Democrat, right? Because you're a fucking moron. And not only are you a moron, you're a confident moron. The Democratic Party and the Republican Party are both fucking trash. We need to get rid of the whole fucking system. We need to get rid of the whole Constitution because maybe, just maybe, and hear me out on this because this might be a little bit hard to follow, right? And thank you, Michael Howard, for the share. Just give me a split second because this might be a tough pill to swallow, right? But maybe a bunch of rapist white men in their 20s who own slaves, they might not have had the best ideas for how to fucking run a society for a few hundred years. We might want to maybe do something a little bit fucking different. Maybe start over again. I know it might be difficult. It might be hard to do. but it's fucking worth it because people are dying out there and they don't need to. People are freezing to death. People are starving to death. People are being killed by police. People are dying of things as dumb as diabetes. People are dying of cancer, right? And all of this shit is supposed to be acceptable because they didn't work hard enough. They didn't just pull themselves up by their bootstraps. What kind of fucking insane person do you have to be to believe that? Starting over would end the world? Yeah, it fucking would. And we need to end the world because the world is ending the world right now. Capitalism is destroying the fucking planet. Natural gas, oil is destroying the fucking planet. American imperialism, American colonialism is destroying the fucking planet. Nuclear fucking warfare is destroying the fucking planet. So, we got to end the world as we know it so we can start the new world. The new world order. Ooh, oh shit. Oh my God, the Illuminati. Oh. And thank you, Fade Runner. I don't know if he was agreeing with me or not, but I don't have a problem with you ever putting him on quiet time. So yeah, Ossidian. How do you feel about that? Or did you just come in here to say that dumb shit and then leave? My day was all right. Dad left. How are you? How was your day? What are you up to? You finna play some Rogue Company? Are you ready to run some games? What are you ready to do? Yeah, George. Yeah, this stream is sponsored by George Soros and the Jewish bankers. It baffles me that people can't just see shitty people and will stick by them. Yeah, it's. I mean, hey, rats will cling to a sinking ship. You know my take on Margaret Thatcher. Margaret Thatcher, that's one of my favorite gender neutral bathrooms. You're off now? Word. Also, let me just put this out there again. Shout out to Chris Dorner. Chris Dorner, the only good cop. One of the only good cops, actually. Because another good cop is Clyde Kerr III. Look him up if you don't know who he is. That's anti-cop. I am absolutely ACAB. I believe that the police. And just like with Pan-Africanism, one of the cornerstones of my beliefs, my political values is abolitionism. So I believe in prison abolition. Obviously, I believe in slavery abolition because prison is modern day slavery. But I also believe in police abolition. And we can do that and we can get there. That doesn't mean, where did I get this shirt? This is a Neckbeard Death Camp joint. Shout out to Neckbeard Death Camp. Why does Dorner not have a movie after him? Because the CIA controls Hollywood. Not all cops are bad, bro. Come on. Hey, I got a joke for you, Anthony. How many good cops does it take to change a light bulb? I'll let you know when a good cop changes anything. I'll give you a link for the shirt after the stream, Charles. But I believe, because people are going to be like, oh, you can't just get rid of cops. And that's not what the fuck abolish the police means, dummy. So let me explain to you. So we have an issue in the United States. I know it's different in other countries in the world. I know it's a little bit different in the UK and stuff. And I'm sure Buckarix can contribute to this because as drill fans, you know what I mean? Bando K, shouts out to Bando K, one of my favorite drill artists in the UK. But there is an issue specifically with how the police treat blacks, specifically here in the States for sure, but also just people in poverty in general. People with mental illness, all of that. So who was on the shirt is a man named Chris Dorner. The only racism you've experienced are from cops? I'm sorry to hear that, dirtbag. I'm sorry to hear that. And I've experienced racism throughout my life on all ends of the spectrum, obviously. But yeah, I've definitely had racist police, had racist encounters with police. You're very pro police reform. Okay, so all right, we're gonna have a conversation about abolishing the police really quick. So when you have a robust healthcare system, which includes legalizing drugs, um, providing appropriate mental health care, in conjunction with adequate access to education and adequate access to resources that allow people to not have to live in crushing, crippling poverty, that eliminates a significant portion of the crime that you would have. Because we all know, it's even been said in this chat, the number one contributor to crime is poverty. People commit crimes because they're in poverty. Nobody fucking robs a liquor store just for, well, I shouldn't say nobody because there are some bored ass rich kids out there. But very, very, very few people rob liquor stores, sell drugs, do all these things just for fun, just because they feel like it. Typically, there is a economic motivator for why these people do things that are outside the boundaries of what is deemed legal by the state. So if you have the ability for people to not only acquire the necessary materials to provide a comfortable living for themselves, but also acquire the knowledge and education to work and create a better and more higher standard of living for themselves, you would eliminate the need for like a crazy, I'm not going to say 99% because that sounds ridiculous, but a pretty significant amount of police. And then when you have community policing, so that when there's a domestic dispute or, there's like a fucking serial killer or some shit like that, you have people in the community who are trained to deal with that and address that situation. And then you have a system that will address those people who are very rare, an almost statistically insignificant portion of the population of people who just want to kill people for just because they enjoy it and those types of stuff. Those people can be dealt with accordingly and not in a prison industrial complex that has a high rate of recidivism that will make you 10 times worse than you were before you went to prison. Because the point of prison, when I ask people the question of what do you think prison is for? If you have a mom and dad, you're privileged, and we need to stop this victimhood, you need to detach yourself from slavery, yeah, you're getting put in back on quiet time. My mom's calling me, but I'll call her back in a minute. So the point of prison is not for reform or for punishment. The point of prison is to remove harmful elements from society so that you can have a decent, safe society without these people creating this harm. And then once they're in that place, then you can begin to focus on reform, or you can just keep them in a comfortable position until they die, I guess. But yeah, look at like Sweden's prison system where you have like actual murderers who can leave, who can get jobs, who can, go to college, do all that kind of stuff. Buckrix, why was crime so rampant in nearly all of communist country that is like the biggest mob ever came out of the USSR? That's because there was so much poverty there. And when you come, they had to fight they had to win World War II because the USSR won World War II. And that's another question. How come the USSR were the first people in space? How come they won? They defeated the Nazis in World War II. How are they able to move from an agrarian fucking feudalist society to shooting men into space in such a short period of time? Poverty created by communism. That is absolutely not true. The poverty existed because of the feudalist society, the czarship that was there before they had a communist party, before they had the October Revolution and all that stuff. Now, when you have to contribute all of your resources to war making because you have a massive fucking military regime that wants to try to invade your country and take over, then you might have some poverty develop as a consequence of having to contribute the majority of your resources towards defending your country against war making. But in terms of communism creates poverty, that's not true. If you think the USSR were friends with the Nazis, you're a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. They had the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact, which I'm sure is what you're referencing, which is basically saying you stay on your side of the fence, we stay on ours. But to say that the communists were friends with the Nazis is absolutely asinine and a complete misunderstanding of history. And I'm sorry, you're a dumbass if you think that. Hang on a sec. I gotta answer this phone call. Okay, so Buckrix, there's a few things wrong with what you just said. Hang on. Let me read what Dr. Dirtbag said first. A lot of people just don't know history and just haven't stepped outside of what's cool thought them. Countries teach history to make themselves look like the hero, not necessarily actual facts. That's 100% correct. But Buckrix, I'm going to read what you said because it's wrong. So you said, I mean, they were in talks for partnerships and Stalin trusted Hitler initially. Perhaps maybe phrasing it as friends is dumb, but their contribution to the war was not quite as righteous as Britain or the USA is my point. So first of all, Britain got fucking teabagged by the Nazis. I don't know if you know this about your country's history or not, but Nazi Germany fucking routed Britain in multiple battles. And the USA didn't even decide to get involved until Japan fucked us over. And even then, after the fact, after the USSR won World War II, because they did, if you look at the number of casualties in World War II, the number of casualties from the USSR is fucking astronomical compared. We might actually look this up. I'm going to pull this up for you just so you guys understand, because this is a good teachable moment. So the USSR had the most casualties in World War II by far and away. But I'm going to see if I can find the infographic I saw. But even if that were not the case, guess where all the Nazi scientists went after the fall of Nazi Germany? Just take a wild guess. Yes, the USA. You're absolutely correct. Do you know where their ideas from racial hygiene came from? Do you know what the original country that eugenics originated from is? Yes, it came from America. Yep. Operation Paperclip. U.S. South. Yep, and the U.S. South is where eugenics came from. Yes, you guys are correct. I got a smart chat. I got smart chat today. So we're going to look at this infographic here. You watch Philosophy Tube's video on eugenics? Yeah. Right on. Philosophy Tube is excellent content.
The average lifespan of an American is 80 years. And an 80-year-old today was 10 when World War II ended, 4 when it began. A soldier who saw battle would have to be in his late 80s, at least today. Generals, political leaders, the decision makers of the war, few are still with us. And over the past few decades, we've seen authors and filmmakers rush to capture stories from survivors before this connection of memory is lost.
Yep, that's true about South Africa as well.
This project is not about individual war stories.
You knew I was going to pull this out? Did you know I was going to put you back on quiet time?
Tens of millions of people
because I am
were cut short by the war, and see how these numbers stack up to other wars in history, including trends in recent conflicts. We'll be counting soldiers and civilians separately. Each of these figures represents 1,000 people who died. Civilians were of all walks of life.
Let me hold up before we go further. Please, let me pause this. Please stop making me defend the Democrats. I fucking hate the Democrats. Please stop making me defend them when you come in here and say fucking dumbass bullshit like the Democrats were the party of segregation, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. We know. No one gives a fuck. God damn it, dude.
We're almost entirely men. The average age was about 23. In most battles, for every 1,000 soldiers killed, there are more than 1,000 who are injured. The word casualty can be confusing because in military speak, it often includes both deaths and injuries, and anything else that takes a soldier out of service. Here, we're just counting the deaths, and we'll begin with American soldiers. Over 400,000 died. Most of the deaths occurred in the European theater, fighting the Nazis. And about a quarter were in the Pacific, fighting the Japanese. When you put them on the timeline, you see that casualties were the heaviest at the end of the war. The war began on September 1st, 1939. But the US wasn't willing to join the fight until Pearl Harbor, 2 years in. The deaths increased drastically on D-Day, when the Allies invaded Normandy. One of the most tragic moments of the war was on D-Day at Omaha Beach, where 2,500 Americans fell.
D-Day.
So about the same
Call of Duty, right?
On this single beach landing as the entire 13 years of the recent war in Afghanistan. The bloodiest battle in the Pacific was Okinawa, which lasted 82 days, during which 12,500 Americans died. About 5,000 of these deaths were at sea from kamikaze attacks. Now let's look at some other countries, starting with Europe. Germany started World War II when it invaded Poland. Poland ultimately lost 200,000 soldiers in the war. Most died after the invasion while the country was occupied by Germany and the Soviet Union. Germany, meanwhile, lost just 16,000 in the invasion of Poland. The Nazis went on to invade and conquer other countries, including Denmark, Belgium, the Netherlands, France, Greece, and Yugoslavia. France surrendered, but after losing 92,000 soldiers in the Battle of France. Over 200,000 ultimately fell, which includes deaths in POW camps, French colonies, and other fighting.
Your only point was USSR was a lot cozier with Nazis than Britain, whereas Britain just genuinely wanted to fight fascism. No disrespect to the Russians, I phrased it horrifically clearly. Although you could make the argument a lot of British aristocracy were pro-peace with Nazis, including the king at the time. Two sides to everything, I guess. I mean, yeah. There were literally no good sides, right? If we're talking about in terms of colonization and such, because look at how they fucking chopped up Africa in the aftermath of World War II. The USSR, and I let me also just say that I am not a shill for the USSR. I just critically support the USSR for what they accomplished. Same as with China. I don't 100% support China because, like I said, I am a Pan-Africanist. So first and foremost, the number one question I'm going to ask is, what are they doing in Africa, right? China is not doing particularly great things in Africa. They might be building their infrastructure up, but there's going to be a cost to that. And yeah, obviously not many other countries were particularly great to Africa as a continent or African people. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that that was known, that I am not a shill for, I'm not a tanky. I'm not a shill for USSR. I'm not a shill for China. I'm not a shill for North Korea. There's aspects of those countries that I acknowledge, but I don't think that they're glimmering examples of my ideal society by any means. And the same with Cuba, I guess. But here we go.
Yugoslavia suffered almost 500,000 military deaths. The initial invasion brought relatively few casualties on both sides. But the deaths mounted under Nazi occupation due to guerrilla fighting, civil conflict, and mass executions. The Nazi invasions were swift, with relatively few German losses. Even the Nazi commanders expressed surprise at their success. And then we have the United Kingdom and the United States, who were not invaded but took the fight to the Nazis. Britain lost about the same number of soldiers as the US, which includes the British colonies. Germany lost about 500,000 soldiers fighting the US and Britain in what is known as the Western Front, which took place in France and Belgium. But most Nazi soldiers died in the Eastern Front, Germany's unsuccessful invasion of the Soviet Union.
The most Nazis were killed by the USSR.
Are staggering. The most famous battle of the Eastern Front, and perhaps the turning point of the European war, was Stalingrad. The German Sixth Army successfully took Stalingrad, but then got surrounded by the Soviets and cut off from food and ammunition. 500,000 Nazis would ultimately die in Stalingrad. Another 100,000 were taken prisoner, of which 6,000 would ever return. POWs had a low survival rate throughout World War II, and it was particularly grim in the East. When you include these POWs, roughly the same number of Germans died in Stalingrad as all the Western Front fighting against France, the UK, and the US. And though Stalingrad was a victory for the Soviets, they suffered almost twice as many losses as Germany. The Soviet Union would eventually defeat the once unstoppable German army, killing 2.3 million Nazi soldiers. But winning the war came at a cost.
A lot of American companies finance Nazi Germany. I know this. You're not telling me anything I don't know. Yeah, Justin. Holy fuck
8.7
is
million
right.
is the official tally
Holy
by the
fuck is
Russian
right.
military, a hotly disputed number. Some studies have calculated as many as 14 million dead. To complete the count of European military deaths, we need to add German deaths from other fronts, including the North and Africa, as well as deaths from other Axis powers allied with the Nazis: Hungary, Romania, and Italy. When you put these European military deaths on the timeline, it looks like this. You can now interact with the chart to learn more. Pause the narration if you would like more time.
Yep. So that's that. So yeah. The USSR won World War II. That's just a fucking fact. USA didn't win World War II. The UK didn't win World War II. The USSR won World War II. We would all be speaking fucking, well, I wouldn't be speaking shit because I would be in a fucking gas chamber or something, but you all would all be speaking German right now if it weren't for the USSR. We would live in Wolfenstein world if not for the USSR right now. World War II was insane in the amount of human death and destruction that occurred. So, I actually had pouring out for the USSR. Yeah. I am going to show you guys something very special. Something very, very special that I'm going to share with you all. That's on my Instagram. It's on my Instagram. Thank you for the follow. This is on my Instagram if you haven't seen it. But this here is my great-grandfather's World War II draft card. From Montgomery, Alabama. He was 44 years old. So he just barely made the cutoff. But, and this is a little blurb I put with it. This is my great-grandfather James Urquhart's draft card. More than 2.5 million African Americans registered for the draft when World War II began, and 1 million served. At the start of the war, all branches of the U.S. military were segregated. President Harry S. Truman ordered the end of military segregation with his Executive Order 9981 in 1948. But racial discrimination and segregation continued in the U.S. Armed Forces through the Korean War, so well after. Some states did not desegregate their National Guard until the mid-60s. African American soldiers and sailors were banned from fighting on the front lines and were assigned menial tasks in place of positions in combat. However, in some cases of emergency or shortage, African Americans were brought to the front lines, including during the invasion of Normandy and the Battle of the Bulge. So, yeah. Wait, I just realized you couldn't see any of that. I'm stupid. Sorry. Hang on. I'll show you. Rip. Yeah, sorry. Hang on. Here it is. But yeah, this is my great-grandfather's draft card. It's all good, Buckaricks. Yeah, I actually found this on Ancestry.com. Thanks, Chanel. I appreciate you. What's up, Haltoro? Yeah, my middle name, I'm actually named after him. My middle name is Perry. My full name is Kevin Perry Rucker II. I'm doxing myself, but whatever. My full name is Kevin Perry Rucker II. My father's name is Kevin Perry Rucker, obviously, but this is where my middle name comes from. This is the man I'm named after. So I'm doing well, Helter. How you doing? I'm doing all right. While we're here, I want to give you guys, this is my father's side. This was my father's father, or excuse me, this was my father's mother's father. So my father's grandfather, my great-grandfather. I'm going to show you my mother's grandfather, or my mother's mother's father. Yes, my mother's mother's grandfather. So my great-great-grandfather. His name was Monroe Markham. And he was born into slavery. He was born into slavery on the David Bowie plantation in what's now called Lincoln County, Mississippi. He was born into slavery, worked his whole life, and died on the same exact property that his father, John Markham, was in, James Markham. His father, James Markham, was worked on. And if you give me a second, I can find for you the will that was left where my great 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 grandfather, James Markham, was listed as property. Yep. And this is a picture of Monroe here. This is from the slave rolls. This is not from a DNA test, dumbass. This is from first of all, my grandmother has all these pictures herself, has literal, actual these physical photographs in some cases. But also, I didn't do a DNA test, dumb fuck. So you're going back on quiet time just because everything you say is fucking stupid. Thank you, Meyer. But yes, this is Monroe Markham. It's my great great grandfather. His great great great, or excuse me, this is my great great grandfather, Monroe Markham. I'm just going to read what I put when I posted this on my Instagram. This is my great great grandfather, Monroe Markham. Born into slavery, he resided on the David Bowie plantation in what's now Lincoln County, Mississippi until 1926, even though the 13th Amendment was ratified in America in 1866, right? His father, James, was listed as property in David Bowie's will, appraised at the modern equivalent of $20,000. So we can do this here. Oh my God. I knew I should have just, here we go. I knew I should have just saved this with the link to it as one in my favorites, because now I'm not going to be able to find it. Of course I can't find it now that I have an audience. But Prentice Bowie was the man that ended up owning I just fucking saw it. Where was it? Whatever. It's on an Angel Fire site. But yeah, Caseyville. Whatever. It's funny, Justin. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, he loves being on quiet time apparently, because he always says stuff that gets him put on quiet time. So, but yeah, what was it? I think it's like $400 that he was listed as being appraised for, which is the equivalent of $20,000 today. And it's like, if it was a consistent $40,000, then you could have owned my great 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 grandfather for a stimulus check. Prentice Bowie owned Monroe Markham. There's a story about Monroe Markham. I'm going to try and find it. Okay. So this is more about Monroe Markham. Monroe Markham was born October 9th, 1852 in Mississippi to slave parents James and Marilda Markham. According to the family oral tradition, Marilda and her children reside on the David Bowie plantation in Copiah County, Caseyville, Mississippi, present-day Lincoln County. About 1872, Monroe married Mary Jane Bird, daughter of James Bird, mother unknown. Monroe and Mary remained on the farm where Monroe was enslaved until 1926. So like I said, he was enslaved there until, even though the 13th Amendment was already ratified. African Americans were first named in the 1870 federal census. Monroe was found in every available census from 1870 through 1930. Monroe was found on every census from 1880 through 1930. 1870, Monroe is listed as 20 years of age, working on the farm, living in the household of his mother, Macrida Markham. So it was spelled differently. It was spelled a few different ways because of the lack of literacy. Just like you could see here, Urquhart is spelled Erkard, but it's usually actually spelled Urquhart. You're hesitant to look at your family history because they are probably all dicks. That's understandable. I wish I could find David Bowie's will so I could show you his Monroe Markham's father being listed for. I'm not gonna be able to find it. I know as soon as I give up and end the stream, I'll find it, but this is my mother's side of the family. And yeah, here's a good site. This is another descendant of the Markham family. Here's more about James Markham. James was born 12th of November 1872 in Caseyville, Lincoln County, Mississippi. His parents had been free for almost 8 years. Oh, never mind. This is a different James. This is the younger James. This is one of Monroe's kids. I'm sorry. He named one of his kids after his father. I haven't read this website too terribly thoroughly. So members of the Bowie were actually in the colored infantry as slaves of the Bowie family in the Revolutionary War, or excuse me, in the Civil War, not the Revolutionary War. In the South, obviously. So in my family are not Confederate soldiers, but slaves of Confederate soldiers, which is different. Yeah, it always works out that way. When you're looking for it and you're trying to show it to someone, you can't find it. But I literally found it by accident one time. So I'm reluctant to pull up the full um, Ancestry.com joint that I did. So. Oh, wait. David Bowie fought for the Union during the Civil War. What? Oh, wow. Take some pictures. Yeah, I'll do that. So, from my understanding, um, the freedmen, after the 13th Amendment was ratified, the freedmen, or rather, not, I'm not sure the timeline on this, but what I'm gathering from this here is that former slaves, the freedmen, went to fight for the Union and expressed regret about it and wanted to come home to be back on the Bowie plantation, which would explain why the Markhams stayed on the plantation. But I'm sure it's a little bit more insidious than them considering them family and wanting to see them or something. I guess this is about Wade, another one of David Bowie's slaves. Let me see if I can find... It was, yeah, perhaps it was just easier to live that way. I guess that makes sense as well. Um, oh, excuse me, sorry. I'm stupid. Anyway, now I'm just like in my own world doing this, but suffice it to say, and here's a picture of Monroe when he was like 11 years old on the Bowie plantation. Monroe Markham, a maternal great-grandfather, was born about 1852. He was still dressed in a shirt tail toward the close of the Civil War. A shirt tail was a one-piece homemade shirt that young slave boys wore up to between 12 and 16 years of age. Monroe remembered the Yankee soldiers passing by the plantation near Caseyville. He was sitting on the fence when one of the soldiers asked him who his master was. Monroe replied, "Prentice Bowie." The soldier told Monroe he had better get back to his master before he shot him. Monroe jumped off the fence and ran back to his mama as fast as he could. According to oral history, Prentice Bowie, who was born in 1850, was given Monroe when they both were young boys. Prentice was the last surviving son of David Bowie. If emancipation had not occurred, Prentice would have been the family's slave owner. Monroe married, raised a family of 15 children on the same land where he was enslaved, and he died in 1932. So, that's that. And this is like a 2.25 hour long stream now, so I think I'm going to end it on that note. Thanks for everyone who stayed and watched and hung around for this long. I appreciate you all. I gave y'all a little bit of history lesson or history review in some cases, because I know some of y'all already knew a lot of information I was telling you. Gave you a look a little bit into my personal history. Thank you, Roxy. I appreciate you. I love you too. Thanks, Justin, for coming and hanging out. Thanks, Fade, for continuing to keep that man on quiet time. Thank you, Donald, for coming through. Thank you, Myra. Happy Black History Month. Hel Turo, thank you. Chanel, thanks for coming through, fam. Joe Snyder, I appreciate you. Mohammed, thanks for the follow. Everybody, thanks for the shares and follows and stars and everything. Buckerix, I appreciate you. Thanks for the dialogue. Before we close, what's that, Fade? What you got for me? Fuck Dara? Oh, yeah. Yeah, before we close, and I just want to just fire that one off. So that's just fresh in everybody's mind. It's the last thing you think about. Fuck Dara. Fuck Rush Limbaugh, of course. Fuck Warpack. Fuck Kush Limbaugh. Fuck Warpack. Fuck them both, and you're mad. But definitely fuck Dara. I don't accept her goofy ass bullshit apology. She needs to throw me some ducats or some followers, and she needs to relinquish her platform to the women of color that she stole it from. So, fuck Maryland Death Fest. Okay, I completely forgot that I was gonna say what. Okay. Thank you, Iman, for reminding me of that, because I'm gonna talk about that really quick. So, Maryland Death Fest. If you're not, you can leave the stream now. The stream is, for all intents and purposes, over. If you don't give a fuck about metal, if you don't give a fuck about Maryland Death Fest, you can leave. That's the end. But if you're curious, if you want to know about Maryland Death Fest, here it is. So, you guys know I have been a metalhead forever. I first got into like alternative music and like gothic industrial music and stuff when I was like 9 or 10 years old, after listening, because I used to just listen to the music my parents listened to. So I was into R&B, Motown, hip hop, gospel music, that stuff. But as a consequence, or rather by virtue of being around the other white kids in the neighborhood that I grew up in, I wanted to both assimilate and distinguish myself. I wanted to distinguish myself as a black person, but also distinguish myself from the other white people, even though I was trying to assimilate to them. So I wanted to be a typical black person. I didn't want to be, I thought that listening to hip hop and stuff was stereotypical. That's what every black person did, right? So I got into rock. I was in first grade. Shout out to J.R. Lewis, or excuse me, shout out to J.R. Lewis Lane, because he really got me started on my journey in metal in more ways than one. When I was in first grade, taking the green bus home from Relay Elementary, fellow relay heads, you know what I'm talking about. Taking the green bus home. My first day at this new public school, because I was in private school and I got kicked out for playing pranks and shit. But anyway, first day at new school, and I'm on the bus home, the green bus, and the bus driver asks, what radio station do we all want to listen to? This is like 1996. And me speaking up, wanting to be different and wanting to impress all these new kids, I say, let's listen to the rock and roll station. Have never listened to rock and roll or anything before. Obviously, I called it rock and roll, but I was like, put the rock and roll station on. JR is like, are you talking about 98 Rock? Yeah, 98 Rock. He was in second grade. We were in a first grade, second grade split, and he lived down the street from me. So I was an awesome prankster. That's facts. Your brother CJ was the most lit fucking prankster of all time at Relay, though. Let's not get that twisted. But anyway, tell CJ I said hello, by the way. What's up? I hope he's doing all right. I hope your family's doing okay. But so anyway, we are listening to 98 Rock on the bus. I'm jamming because I think like Metallica came on, so we're jamming. We were jamming on the bus. And through that, I started listening to like video game soundtracks, rock music on video game soundtracks. So Twisted Metal, and like X-Men Mutant Academy was a big one. That was one of my favorite soundtracks. It's still one of my favorite soundtracks. So like Rob Zombie, I knew, but got most of it from you. Oh, I'm sure, Justin. But anyway, I just listened to stuff on the radio and in video games and, movie soundtracks, like the Scream soundtrack and stuff, until Napster came out. And I got into the Blade techno music. So that was how I got into, in conjunction with the Extreme G soundtrack and stuff. That's how I got into like synthwave and all that stuff. But I'm getting sidetracked. When I was in high school, suffice it to say, I got into metal and I got into, or at the very least, I got into hard rock and alternative rock, like butt rock and stuff in elementary and middle school. When I got to high school, like my freshman year, that's when I got into, I first heard Dismember and Pestilence. Those were the two bands I first got into. I tried to get into Cannibal Corpse, but I hated it the first time I heard it. I honestly, I thought Cannibal Corpse sucked the first time that I heard them. They're one of my favorite fucking, like some of my favorite records now. But the first time I heard Cannibal Corpse, the first song I listened to was Orgasm Through Torture. And I got curious because I was reading the lyrics because I was like death metal. And the lyrics were gory. They're about rape and torture and all this stuff. And I was like, holy shit, this is nuts. I want to see what this sounds like. So I was all excited, put on Orgasm Through Torture. And I was like, wow, this fucking sucks. Cut it off, put it on the back burner for a while. I got into some groove and a little bit of thrash with Dismember and Pestilence. And I was like, wow, this is fucking dope. And through there, I got into Cradle of Filth. And that was the first time I'd ever heard blast beats. So I started fucking with blast beats. So it kind of turned me back around into death metal a little bit. So I got into Cataclysm and Dying Fetus and Pig Destroyer. Those were some of the first bands I got into. We listened to sick shit in high school. Hell yeah. But JR, who was my friend who introduced me to General Surgery, one of my favorite bands. I miss my Maryland Death Fest General Surgery shirt dearly. But JR, who got me into rock music and electric guitar music, shall we say, music in the first place, I found out once we were in high school together, once my first year at Lansdowne, he was a senior, I was a junior. I found out he was also a metalhead. Not only was he a metalhead, but he was also straight edge because I was straight edge. So we instantly bonded. And, you know, he had always lived down the street. His parents lived down the street. So what we used to do is he would come pick me up after school, and whatever new shit that I downloaded or I discovered and bought at FYE for my trips to the mall or whatever, he would burn all of my CDs. I would burn his. And while we were waiting for our CDs to burn for each other, we would play video games and fucking drink Pepsi and just laugh about shit at school and like South Park and Family Guy and shit. Shout out to J.R. Lane again, if he sees this. But I realized that there was an entire festival called Maryland Death Fest. And the first year that I wanted to go was the year 2005. That was the year Triple X Maniac played. I think Gronabard played that year. There's a bunch of bands that I really would have loved to see. But I had never been to a show or a music or a concert or anything like that before. So I was scared, like literally just scared. I had very, very, very crazy social anxiety. And being in a band is part of what alleviated that for me. But anyway, in 2005, after Death Fest that same year, later that year, I went to my first show because I was I was a Sepultura fan, but I was a way bigger Soulfly fan because I was super into nu metal. So my bro Joel, shout out to Joel, who's the one that got me into Pig Destroyer and grindcore and gore grind really in 8th grade. He said, yo, because I knew he drove, and I hit him up and I was like, hey, Soulfly is coming through. They were playing with Throwdown, who I fucking loved Throwdown because I was straight edge and I thought I was a tough guy. So I was like, let's go to this show. And that was the first show I ever went to. I think it was Soulfly, Throwdown, Blood Simple, and Max Cavalera's son's band Insight, if you guys remember Insight. But I was hella nervous. I was literally holding on to the back of Joel's shirt so that we wouldn't get separated. Because I would have held his hand, but that was gay, right? So I was just holding on to the back of his shirt so we wouldn't get jostled around in the mosh pit and stuff because we were up front. And I was a scared little like 14-year-old. So went to the show. It was an amazing experience. And I still had my ticket stub from it up until my house burned down. So time to spend some OG Killer ID. That's funny. There, you can still find Killer ID, I think, on SoundClick or if you hit up like Metal Archive or not Metal Archives. If you hit up Web Archives, you could probably find some Killer ID MP3s floating around the internet. But anyway, 2006, I had my concert cherry popped, so to say. After going to that show at the Record, I went to Maryland Death Fest 2006. Billy was with me. Our whole band went because in 2005 I started my first death metal band after I quit Killer ID. Yeah, we played the Catonsville Library too. That was fucking embarrassing. Billy was at that show as well. Billy was my road dog back in the day. But we started our band in 2005 after I quit Killer ID. We started a band called Reanimator, which was a thrashy death metal band that was all about horror movies and sampled horror movies and stuff because I fucking loved Mortician. Still love Mortician. You don't dish the tish. But 2006, went to Death Fest with the homies, with my band, with Billy and other members of our band and stuff, and got to meet some cool people that I'd had correspondence with on the internet. Got to meet Jason V from Splatterhouse. Got to meet Seth Vanderloo from Severe Torture and Centurion for the first time. Met Ed Rankin from Fecal Corpse after talking to him for a minute. Thanatos, yep. No, I don't count. The reason why I don't count Thanatos is because we only jammed together one time. And you fucking just stood there fucking doing widdly wahs between your legs while we were trying to fucking cover Seek and Destroy by Metallica. Roxy. It's like, nah, let me stop. Anyway, so I was psyched on Death Fest after that year 2006. I saw some of my favorite bands. I saw Severe Torture, all these bands and it was like serendipity to me because it was like that summer I was obsessed with Severe Torture after I discovered them because I was super into Cannibal Corpse, and what I used to do at the time was I would do one of two things. I would go on a record label's website to discover music. So I will go on like earache.com, centurymedia.com, metalbladerecords.com, listenable records. That's how I discovered Deranged, one of my favorite death metal bands. And I would listen to the bands there, or I would look in the promo pictures of the band's promo albums and see what t-shirts they were wearing and be like, oh, he's got a Severe Torture t-shirt on. If the logo was even legible, that is. So Severe Torture had a fairly legible logo. So I was like, oh, Severe Torture, that band's probably tight. Discovered them that way. Instantly decided that they were my favorite band. Then they got a next for Death Fest like 3 months later. Your first show was that dude Bob Wolf's band. Yikes. That's wild. That's wild. I don't remember what the first show I played was. But yeah, Severe Torture. I still bump Severe Torture. I love Severe Torture. But so anyway, 2006, we went to Death Fest. Our band was solidified, and I thought that what a lot of people think at the time, or what a lot of people think in general, is you start a band, you play really good music or music that you think is really good. You try to get out there. Other people like your music because it's good. And then you get the honor, right, of being put on the pedestal of the metal elite when you get invited to play Death Fest. And that's when you're officially in the famous metal musician club, right? So we went to Death Fest in 2006. I believe Evan it was. I'm not sure who booked this show, but there was a show where Destruction played in January of 2007. And our band got to play with Destruction, Municipal Waste, and Into Eternity. And Eternal Ruin also played. But I was hype because I knew for sure, hell yeah, we're making it. We're getting big. We're going to get invited to play Death Fest. We're going to play Death Fest. We didn't play Death Fest 2007, obviously, but that's also the year I met the homies from Infernal Stronghold. I booked their first show. We played with them. We played with them in Revocation and Swashbuckle, which is insane to think about. Played with two huge bands that are huge now. We played at Sidebar of all places. So, that was that. In 2008, I don't want to name drop them because I don't know if they... You know what? Fuck it. Infernal Stronghold played Death Fest, and it rubbed me the wrong way that Fall of the Despised was dope, but I like Misanthropic Carnage. Misanthropic Carnage was my favorite. Triac played that too. I forgot Triac played that. I don't know how I forgot Triac played that. But Infernal Stronghold played Death Fest, and we're not paid. And that's when I first realized that Death Fest was not what I thought it was. That bands that can work hard as fuck coming from all over the country to open that will in some cases, not even get free tickets to Death Fest. You're playing a festival that you don't even have free passes to, right? But bands like Destroyer 666 and fucking Hate Gestapo 1488 will fucking get their full $2,000 guarantee plus their rider and all their security and all their shit, right? So I have hated Death Fest since then, but everything I've seen since then has made me say fuck Death Fest. Part of that was also 2008, 2009. So the best part of Death Fest to me, and people will attest to this, other Death Fest heads, the best parts of Maryland Death Fest were two things. Not the festival itself. Obviously, going to see a lot of those bands that you would never in any other circumstance be able to see was cool. But the best two things about Death Fest were, number one, heavy metal parking lot. That's just people who weren't even into metal would come to Death Fest just for heavy metal parking lot to get drunk in the parking lot and good times with friends from all over the world, all over the country. So number one. But number two was the secret shows. So if you didn't have $250 fucking dollars or whatever to go in to see whatever out of the country band you wanted to see, especially the grind scene, the crust scene, the underground scene, there would be a secret show that if you hung around heavy metal parking lot long enough or hung around one of us, the locals, long enough, you would find a local space, a house or whatever, that was putting on a show with one of these bands in secret. And I was under the impression that it was because they wanted to not blow it up and make it hot, get the space popped when there is people out the door and around the corner trying to see this band from fucking Brazil or whatever. My best secret show memory was seeing Coffins at like 6 a.m. at the Annex while the sun was coming up. That was one of the dopest fucking secret shows I've ever seen. That and at Nowhere House, Memorial Day Massacre, when like Magruder Grind and all of them fucking played right up until the fire department came and shut it down. Those are some of the best music memories I fucking have. The best possible Baltimore memories, period, that I have. What I found out later on is that there is a radius clause that Death Fest sets up. So say you're coming from fucking Wisconsin. You got to figure out how to get all of your gear, all of your bandmates to Baltimore and stay at least for the night that you play, right? To find out they're not going to pay you. They're not going to put you up. They're not going to give you a free pass. Not only that, part of that is you have to sign a contract that says you will not play any other shows in a specific radius around Baltimore for the entire weekend. So even if you wanted to set up like a tour, even if you wanted to make a quick East Coast tour or something, you have to straight up not play in like Philly and DC because you're playing Death Fest. You're contractually obligated to not play. As in, this fucking rich kid who had his parents just throw him $1 million to put on a festival of people singing songs about beating women and killing women is going to sue you if you play music anywhere else besides this festival for that weekend. So, all of that, and plus all of the shit with my first and only Death Fest related show. I worked the pre-fest party where Demal played, and there was a wolf there, and it ended up getting blown up into this huge story that Brooklyn Vegan like wrote a thing about. I was there. I was the one that actually pointed out that guy, like, hey, there, because I was working security at Autobar at the time, and fuck Autobar while I'm at it. That's a whole nother thing that I can get into later. I don't really want to now because this is 2.5 hours now. But anyway, I was working security at Autobar. Noticed this dude had a fucking giant ass Operation Werewolf patch on his vest. And I was tired of dealing with it at that point because I had already been in an actual fist fight with a wolf. I beat this wolf's ass because he owed me money at his own show. He was wearing corpse paint. He played with his little goofy ass black metal band. I slapped the fuck out of him swiftly. He had a giant ass handprint on the side of his shit. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And he cocked back like he wanted to hit me, and I just immediately started speed bagging his shit. His girlfriend had to come and break us up. My index finger is still broken because midway through the fucking fight, if you want to call it that, I broke my finger and had to pop my finger back in so I could keep hitting him. It was a mess. But yeah, I let them handle it, and the dude was all pissed, talking about censorship and all this fucking goofy shit. And that's when I realized, like, yo, the Nazis only go where they're welcome because they know that their way of life and their ideology is fucking heinous and disgusting. So they have to disguise it, and when they're comfortable doing it, not disguising it, it means that they're welcome there. And that's when I realized that that's what Autobar is about. They hang all of those fucking no wolves allowed, all those shit fucking signs, have people there that do all this anti-Nazi shit and do all this communist memes and shit. When at the end of the day, if the Nazis are bringing a hefty bag, they will go eat an Eskimo pie or something. Case in point, when Evan Phillips called me the fucking nig in public and they fucking pressed me about it, fucking cornered me, like, did he really say that? Is it just a personal beef? Do you just have a personal vendetta against him, or did he really say that? Are you sure he said what you thought he said? He might have said something else. All because his fucking girlfriend or fiance or whatever the fuck she is was bringing them money, running her goofy ass little Maryland Folk Festival shit, and they didn't want to kiss that few $1,000 bag goodbye, even though they had literal card-carrying neo-Nazis in their fucking bar, and it was Chuck's fucking friend or whatever. That was his homeboy. That was his bosom buddy, so he was upset about it or whatever. So that's why it's fuck Death Fest for me. It's fuck Autobar for me. And the smart people have not paid to go to Death Fest since like the year 2009. I can't even remember the last time I bought tickets to go to Death Fest is. But that said, just to bring it back, fuck Dara. You're a piece of shit. I don't accept your apology. You need to fucking give your platform that you stole from women of color back and apologize and make amends to the people you fucked over throughout your life. And yeah, I'm going to leave it on that note. Thanks for watching, everyone. I appreciate your patience and just chilling and talking to me about this shit. And yeah, I stream. I try to stream every day at 3 o'clock. Sometimes I'm a little bit later. I started around 4, a little after 4 today. But most of the time, it's between 3 and 5. I start Monday nights. That's the only night that's different because I do my Mortal Kombat 11 tournament at 10 p.m. So if I'm not live on Mondays, it sounds like you have liberty and love. Your parents that let you do what you want. You have a good life. You're on quiet time. You're just on permanent quiet time. I don't know what the point of that, of saying shit like that is. Of course, I have parents that love me. The fuck? But anyway, thanks you guys. I'll see. What's today? Friday? It's Friday. I might not go live Friday because I usually take weekends off. But if so, I'll be on at like 3. If I don't go live this weekend, I will catch you guys Monday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for my Mortal Kombat 11 tournament when I compete weekly. And Tuesday through Friday after that, I'll be live around 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that sounds like my food. I am fucking starving. So I will catch you guys on the flip. Be safe.